Hey guys, what's up? Redmaster again for the second time today, and this video will be a bit different from what I normally make, hidden combos, tutorials, all that stuff. Just another one of those videos I told you every now and then would come in and surprise you. For this video today, we're going to talk about a topic that may be uncomfortable to talk about. I know it's definitely sparks, flair from lots of players. But I'll take you to it. It's about these event cards. Now, as you know or may know, recently my hidden combo videos have been centered around these event cards. Salahar Spitefish 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, Flux this week. It won't be a normal thing, those just kind of seem to pop into my head. But I do want to talk about these event cards and kind of my thoughts, my opinions, and analysis of each card. And I'll also show you a deck I made with all these event cards and how I kind of chose to use it. But before I talk about these cards as individuals, let's take a look at them as a whole. We started seeing event cards pop in a few months ago. It started with Pegacorn, then we got the Witch, then we got the Giant, then we got Spitefish, then Titan Watcher. Flux, I know, is a bit of a odd one to throw in, but he is part of the set, as you can see by this, and he is kind of found through the Crash Land promotion, not in regular packs, so that's why I kind of lump him in together with everyone here. But the premise of event cards were to purchase packs and, pull them randomly out of them. Some people got them in, a full set in, 5 to 10, others a lot higher, but I won't get into those numbers. Normally they were out for about 6 days in which you had your chance to collect a full set. I did, each event and have a full set of my own here. But I think they were mainly used to, in my opinion, lower people's card point reserves. Now what that means is that a lot of people here who have been playing for a long time has had reserves of card points built up, in preparation for a new expansion pre-order, so they don't have to use their money, their real cash to acquire it. Instead, they just, save their card points. This was a tricky little idea to get players to, use their card points, and, those of you who want full collections, and, like I do, they send them out to search for them in all of these packs. Now, there have been issues with these event cards, and, many different complaints saying, they're too exclusive, it leads down a pay-to-win road, and they are defining. Yeah. Now, two of those are partly true, actually false, my bad. Two of those are actually false. They're exclusive, they're too exclusive, and they're presenting a pay-to-win option. That is completely, false in my opinion. I have seen people pull cards like Pegacorn, like Serpent Witch, even the Giant out of regular packs once this event is over. So I do kind of think that these cards aren't too hard to find. I mean, they're kind of like beyond the realm of legendaries, if you ask me. Like, you could still pull them, but their chances are even smaller than what you like a legendary. And once you get 3, of course, that means you can't find any more of them. Or maybe you can, I'm not sure. I've always pulled about 3 and kind of left it at that. You could also notice that a lot of them are neutral based. There's only one faction specific. I think that's just to explain, kind of enforce the idea that these cards, need to be picked up. They're viable in any deck, seeing as how they can fit into any place. They're all neutrals, except for Yarham Giant, but he's his own special little guy. And what I was saying is that it is a bit true in the fact that they are meta-defying. We've seen that with Giant and with Salahar. Salahar became nearly a staple to have in any deck, and Giant caused much havoc in the season of October, or the partially ending seasons of October. But enough about these cards as a whole. You know, if you guys think about anything else about these cards, you can definitely put them in the comments below. But I'm going to go individually now and list off, you know, what I think about each card. We're going to start off, you know, down the line. First off, we're going to start with Salahar Spitefish. Like I said, this card became a staple like that. Its last willing, dealing 2 damage to an enemy castle, you know, basically for 1 gold when it dies, is very effective. You're taking away about 30% of the enemy castle's health if you have all 3, and for anyone who's not a math wizard out there, that's 6 damage off the castle. I'm pretty sure you can figure that out by simple multiplication, but, you know, whatevs. He did become a staple and did turn around the emphasis of decks into more early game aggression, rather than late game, I guess, kind of the same way. You know, late game is still, you know, an option. We see that with monster decks now, you know, their whole setup and push, illustrated by Kraken, Kaiju, whatnot. But Spitefish definitely turned around with putting an emphasis on the early game. And his stats aren't too bad, 2-2. You can kind of get him off the field with a Peasant, with a Books, or even another copy of Spitefish. It trades pretty well. So, Salahar Spitefish, he's got things going on. Next up, we're going to go into our most recent event card, the Titan Watcher. Titan Watcher is a 3 gold, 7/6 unit, so he's a big dude. And he's got, Salahar is like a common, and this is an epic, but, I mean, the rarities are kind of mixed up in this one, so I wouldn't get too excited about the rarities of each of these guys. But anyway, he's also got 2 movement, Sluggish, and Stalwart. The Stalwart is actually the more important factor of this one. Sluggish, maybe. I can see Sluggish being, you know, an aspect of him. But Stalwart's the more important effect. Titan Watcher is your answer to Wind Mage. Going around right now, we had a couple of crazy Wind Mage decks, you know, and I admit being guilty of such antics with Wind Mage, but he is, Titan Watcher Stalwart, you know, immune to all knockback and pull effects. It blocks that Wind Mage, so you're essentially, wherever he is, he's not going to move, regardless of, you know, a Hall of Winds, a Wind Mage, a knockback, you know, whatever. And his 7/6 kind of puts him at a good early unit to have. Sort of like King Crab back in the early days of Monster Island, being a 7/7, but Titan Watcher 1 gold lower, and overall, I think he's okay. I don't really include him in every deck I use. I see some people include him, and he's not a bad choice, especially those stats because of it. And I mean, that's all I kind of say about Titan. Next, we're moving on to Flux. Again, Flux is sort of like a promotional card more than a limited time card. He's found through the Crash Land promotions. If you guys don't know what that is, check my last video on the Flux combo. I explained to him how you're able to obtain Flux, and kind of similar with his ability of Harvest. I kind of explain everything I can about Flux in the last video, so make sure you go check that out for him. Serpent Witch, the runt of the limited cards. When Serpent Witch was introduced, she was only the 2nd card out of like the limiteds to be ever shown to us, so of course people tried to pick it up. We eventually found her, you know, we realized that she's not that strong. She's only really versatile in a monster deck, and really is like a monster version of Fencer. The 4 gold like Fencer, the 5 attack. The only thing is, the difference between her and Fencer is that her 5 attack is permanent, but she has lower health. If you're playing a monster deck, I mean, it's a good card to add. It kind of it helps you prioritize over Fencer. It gives you that 4 gold slot pretty filled. But overall, I don't see much use for it when compared to Fencer in other decks. So, I mean, Serpent Witch, it's an okay card, but I wouldn't call it one of the best, or even a good one maybe. But for monster decks, I think that's fine. Next, moving on to Pegacorn. Pegacorn was the first limited card to be shown to us. At first, you know, similar to the Serpent Witch, it was the first limited event card we saw. People immediately tried to pick it up, but they found out in time that it's not as strong as a card as you like to think. Its stats are pretty good. 5 gold at a 5/6 attack and health point standard. It's okay. It kind of challenges Swordsman, but, you know, the Cleave, I think, maybe still makes Swordsman a better choice. Pegacorn, though, was your answer to Auras. I've sort of seen them starting to die out now, but, of course, we all know that Aura decks are still pretty annoying, that when you run into it, and it kind of can get frustrating. Pegacorn is your answer to that, or technically sort of an answer. Its Rainbow Shield blocks out magic and spell damage. So, Primordial Flame, Zealous Knight, cards like that, they don't work against Pegacorn. You'll have to attack him directly in order to get him down. And even magic cards and chains don't affect him either, so I think that's where he's stronger than Serpent Witch. He has a bit more strengths, and overall, I think, more versatility than Serpent Witch. So, it's why Pegacorn is higher than Serpent Witch, but I think lower than Salahar or our next guy, the Yarm Giant, in uses. And speaking of the Yarm Giant, that's our last card and our only faction-specific limited time event card. Back when he first came out, he was devastating. People started immediately to play him in Viking Ninja decks. He was a powerhouse along with Fenrir and Rune Warrior, and sort of was like a mini Ragnar. He's got the knockback, the chain lightning, the 8 gold, and a higher health stat at 10 base and 5 attack. So he definitely caused trouble. I don't know what he was the answer to, or what they intended to do or have him do in the first place, but he really did change the whole season a lot. And making him Viking really placed limited potential on him, which is why you saw a lot of Viking ninjas. He really didn't go anywhere else other than Vikings, since he is a Viking card. And his knockback and chain lightning just reinforced his power by knocking things into place and then setting off a whole chain lightning. Definitely a killer to Undead or any Swarm deck in general, which is why Rats died out as soon as Yarm Giant hit the field. But, yeah, definitely one of our stronger cards from the limited time events. Now, of course, this is only 6 of the event cards. I'm pretty sure that there are definitely more on the way. I'm not sure when they're going to stop, or, you know, if they'll ever stop in these event cards, but I do like seeing new cards being produced. It keeps the game fresh and interesting, and does keep changing. Now, in decks with them, I actually will showcase one match I did make. We're gonna do a single player. Where did I have it made? Oh, right here. I'm gonna go against the Warlocks. This deck was entirely based around event cards and how strong they were and whatnot. This is not a good hand, by the way, whatsoever. But if you do want to see this deck more in action-based, I will link the video in the description, but Jeremy actually just posted on his channel a best of 3 series we had with decks based entirely around event cards. I mean, his kind of focused a bit more on dragons as well, but I mean, still, it was a a good match, or a good set of matches, I should say. So as you can see here, we're finally getting into the fight, turn 3, kind of weak, and it gives the AI time to build up, which he certainly wasted no time doing. So let's throw out Serpent Witch here. We're going to get rid of that Imp. We're also going to bash that Scout. This heal will be great for the castle in a moment. He attacks there. Attacks there. Okay. So we cannot draw our hands full. I mean, that's kind of the issue with Flux, but that's okay. We are going to probably give Flux a bit more health there. We're going to drop the heal on the base too. And essentially what we are going to do here is clear all these enemies off of our base. And right now we have a lot of lower costing spells. You know, we can't bring out these big giants yet. Hopefully I do get to show off the event cards and they don't. We're probably not, yeah, we can't draw, that's another problem. I'm gonna get rid of some of these, so we're gonna need the smuggling ring, for example. Just kind of tossing ideas around what to throw out. Now, as you can see with Flux here, our hand does get clogged up with spells. We're trying to get rid of them so I can draw more of my event cards. And like I said, this will probably be the only match I have with them. If you do want to see more of it and a more successful run of it, to be honest, you can definitely go check out GermyVee. Definitely show him some support, some love, whatnot. Give our guy some pacifism there. Throw that on him. Keep him a bit more back. Give him some more health. I'm not too concerned about that. We'll lose one of our zombies. So now we get to throw out our big giant, as you can see. We have some really tough looking guys coming down the base. Jeez, the baseline at 21 health? I didn't know I made him that powerful. Let's see how much higher we can get him. This one we don't want to see you there. Be gone. Yeah, 29 health. Jesus. This is sort of like what I did in my hidden combos. You know, you guys remember that deck, right? There's the Pegacorn. We're gonna bring him out. Keep our guy here. I know I could have thrown in the Rampage to end it, but I do want to kind of see. Right now we're missing one event. Let's see. We've thrown Giant, Flux, Pegacorn, Witch. Oh, we didn't see Salahar. We didn't see Titan. Nope, still didn't see him. But that is my thought on these event cards. I'm just gonna show you guys the deck I used. I'm not gonna explain everything. I'll just show you in case you want to make the same deck. You know, screenshot it there, screenshot it here, whatnot. But if you definitely want more more gameplay of these event cards in action, I will link the video that Jeremy made in the description below. I thank you guys for watching as always. Red Tutorial double feature coming out this week, Thursday and Friday. Keep your eye out for that. And until then, guys, stay gaming.